Let's hear it for Renee DuBois.
Hi, everybody. I am so excited to be here and so grateful for this opportunity. So let's jump right in. So hi, my name's Renee DuBois, and I have imposter syndrome. There, I said it. I put it out there. Not a lot of people are willing to talk about it and want to share their story, but I want to do just that. I want to talk about it. Some of you might be wondering, what is imposter syndrome? It's a persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved. But to me, imposter syndrome is so much more. To me, imposter syndrome is the mental game I play with myself, constantly questioning, am I good enough? Can I do this? Or am I a failure? Looking back, I had imposter syndrome all the way in elementary school. I grew up with a learning disability and didn't learn to read until the 6th grade. School was really hard, especially when applying to college, and I got rejection letter after rejection letter, and I only applied to a handful of universities. But then the day came when I got the big envelope in the mail, and I was accepted to Midwestern State University in Wichita Falls, Texas. I couldn't believe it. I got into college. Looking at my undergraduate career, it was filled with imposter syndrome. I was a very involved student leader on my campus, but I couldn't help but wonder, was I good enough to lead my peers? My mentors and supervisors kept saying I was a good student leader, but was I? After graduation, I decided to go to graduate school at the University of North Texas. I was pursuing my master's in higher education, and I knew from day one I wanted to work with fraternities and sororities. I remember sitting there, those first couple classes, and my classmates, they were answering questions. They sounded so educated, like they knew what they were talking about. I sat there wide-eyed thinking to myself, probably should have read, but also, what did I get myself into? I don't know if I can do this. Well, after graduation, I ended up moving back home to live with my mom and dad, and I felt like a failure. I felt like a failure because I didn't have a job right after graduation, and everybody else did. I was questioning if I was good enough for this career. Well, let's just say after 6 months, I was good enough. And I ended up getting a job at North Dakota State, working with their fraternity and sorority community. From day one, I was deemed the expert. Nobody in administration knew anything about fraternities and sororities, so it was me, right out of college. I remember the day where I felt like I knew nothing about my job and questioned if this career was for me. It was January 23rd, 2016, about 6 months in working there. I brought all the fraternity and sorority executive boards together. We're gonna goal set, team build. It was gonna be rainbows and butterflies. But boy, was I wrong. The students had their pitchforks out, demanding I get rid of all the rules, let them do whatever they want. Everything was spinning out of control, and I couldn't bring it back together. I went home that day crying, saying to myself, I'm a failure, I can't do this. Questioning everything. Well, the next day at work, I went back and talked to my supervisor, let him know how I was feeling. And he said to me, you are a rock star. We hired you for a reason, remember that. I couldn't help but question, was I a rock star? Well, for the next 2 years, I was consistently told that I was a rock star. At this point in time, I was sick of living in the cold, ready to move on to another university. I got a job in Arkansas working with their fraternities, and for a year I was told on a bi-weekly basis how horrible I was at my job and questioned if this career was for me. I would go home during lunch crying, not wanting to go back. How could I have gone from being a rock star to being told on a bi-weekly basis how horrible I was? I was questioning everything. I realized, though, I was in a really toxic work environment and I needed out. Still wondering if I was good enough for this career. Well, let's just say I am good enough. I ended up getting a job at Stetson University, working with their fraternity and sorority community. I've been there for 5 years now, and I'm consistently told that I am a rock star. And they're thankful to have someone like me working for them. So what has gotten me through my imposter syndrome is talking about it, sharing my thoughts and feelings, and writing down my evidence as to what has made me a rock star. But also accepting that I have it. Imposter syndrome is my baggage. It'll always be with me. But knowing that I have it and talking about it is what's getting me through. So if you are experiencing imposter syndrome, know that you are not alone. Know that so many people out there are experiencing it and they're not talking about it. But honestly, us as a society, we're not talking about it enough. And honestly, we're not talking about it at all. But it is real and it's affecting so many of us. So again, my name's Renee DuBois and I have imposter syndrome. Thank you.